Executive information system. So we talk about this one in the previous sessions. So we will be starting with this from this session. Decision support system. From this word, you can understand what this system does. Decision support. That is supporting the decisions of the organization. Decision support system analyzes the data which is used in decision making. The data available in the system will be analyzed by this for decision making, and who will be using that? Management of the organization. Data can be from internal and external sources. For example, if management need to assess the price of the product, may use data from internal and external sources, market prices likewise. So there are some data available in the internal network, internal system. So that is the decision support system. That support system will fetch the data from external sources into the system. Then they may analyze those data and provide some reporting to the management. As an example, market price. So DS combine data and analytical models or data analyst tools to support semi-structured and structured decision making. DS use internal information from TPS, transaction processing system, and also from management information systems. So that is in the decision making hierarchy. So they will be taking the information from the transaction processing in the systems, the low level, and also from the management information systems. It has more analytical power than other systems. So it analyzes, there are analytical tools embedded in the systems. So from those they are analysis the data. That data will be provided to management to take decisions. So especially this is used for decision making. So we as questions, what is the system that analyzes the data which is used in decision making? See, decision making word is used there. When there is a decision making word which has explained here, that has link with the decision support system. So it's easy for you to understand select the question from that. What is the correct incorrect statement about decision support system? DSS use external information from TPS and MIS. We look into this. DSS use internal information. See what we have written here. What they have written here. DSS use external information. So it use the internal information from TPS and MIS. That cannot take in external information from TPS. So TPS and MIS also inside the organization. So that is the internal data. MIS, Management Information System. Why we use this one? So information system used for decision making. So earlier system also used for decision making. This also used for decision making and for the coordination and control, analysis and visualization of information in an organization. MIS convert data from mainly internal sources. That doesn't deal with external sources. That is dealing with the internal sources of information. Let's say decision on price level, decision on price of products. So those informations are gathered, and with the previous data that the system will have, that is fetched to this one, and also then they will decide on the pricings of the product. Let's say what is the cost involvement for the materials, for the transportation, for labor costs, and some other communication costs, and health and safety costs. There are so many other factors involved in this production area, production cycle. So those all cost factors will be gathered from this MIS system, and also the prices that have been given for the previous product also will be evaluated, and then they decide on the pricing of the product. So, those decisions will be internally gathered, those data will be internally gathered, then we will take the decision. That also used for decision making. So, decision making, executive information systems are used, decision making, for decision making MI is also used. Enable managers to make timely and effective decisions. So, in here managers are using this one to take timely decision. MIS is acronym for Management Information System. Here as a question is given. Who is using the Management Information System? Who are using? Managers. Their managers are using the Management Information System. When it comes to a question like this, you can understand the hierarchy that I have given here earlier. Top management, mid-level management, likewise. From that you can easily identify these answers. Decision support systems are used by senior managers, top managers. MIS are used by managers. DSS are used by senior managers, right? Characteristics of MIS: support structure decision and at operational and management control level. Designed to report on existing operations. Have little analytical capabilities. Not like the DSS, this has a little analytical capability. Relatively inflexible. Not flexible normally. Have an internal focus. It's focusing on internal data. So, these are the characteristics you can understand by reading even. Let us go to the next slide. Value added network. What are those value added network? It is a network that add value to your production process, the business process. A value added network is a hosted service offering the act as an intermediate between business partners, sharing standard based or proprietary data via shared business processes. The first service is referred to as value added service. WAN will link separate organizations together through electronic data interchange. Through EDI, the electronic data interchange, they are connecting the networks and controlling the development of business network. As an example, Sabri Global Distribution Network, you may have seen that all the travel agents are using this system, because one person will book, one travel agents company will book a ticket for you. So, that information will be fetched, retrieved from some other system. That is the value added network provided by Sabri Global Distribution System. So, the travel agency system is linked with that system of the other company. So, that information will be fetched into this system. So, that system which we have connected is adding a value to our network. So, that is called value added network. Let us say if you have a ERP system and you are sending emails and things like that, you want to embed a system, SMS system and calling system into your ERP. Then you are taking some services from some other service provider. Then that provider is the value added service that they are providing to your network for your ERP. Business Intelligence BIS. What is the Business Intelligence Systems? It's a set of methods and tools that are used by organizations for accessing and exploring data from diverse source systems to better understanding how the business is performed and make the better informed business decisions that improve performance and create new strategic opportunities for growth. Those are the intelligent system that access the data in the organization, that explore the data, and then that understand how the data is performing. So tell what happened and is happening right now, and describe the situation. So those information is analysis. So it's like an intelligent system that provide the data in the past few years, and those analyst data will be given to the management, and also what happened in past, what happened happening right now, and it describes the situation, right? And that is how the business intelligence systems are working on. Example of BS. Coca-Cola bottling company. Maximize the operation efficiency. We'll go to the problem. Manual reporting processes restrict access to real-time sales and operation data. Then what they did? Coca-Cola business intelligence team handled reporting for all sales and delivery operation at the company with their BI platform. The team automated manual reporting processes, saving over 26 hours a year. Actually, let's say if you have a BI system in your company that but it is not connected with your sales people, right? You are giving the BI platform to your sales people. They are taking it in the mobile phones and go to the shops and sell their product. And then what will happen is they will select the purchaser and then give it for credit, or sometimes they will for cash, and ultimately at the end the business intelligence system collect all the data into one, right? So report automation and other enterprise system integrated put customer relationship management data back into the hand of sales team in phase through mobile dashboard. So there can be mobile dashboard that provide the information. Okay, business data warehouse systems, data warehouse, business warehouse. What is talk about here? We'll tell in brief. Is simply a consolidation of data from a variety of sources that set a foundation for business intelligence. So data warehouse is giving a foundation for business intelligence system. We talk about it here. It helps in making better strategic and tactical decision. Is the management decision will be taken. Data from different sources is stored in a common format with intelligent algorithm. Let's say from this BI system, through their intelligent algorithm, by querying of the data, they fetch data into the system. For example, indexing which helps to locate and retrieve easily. So what is the business warehouse used for? Data, storage and analytics. That is where the business warehouse is used for. So answer is this. By looking at the other answers, it is easy to identify what the correct answer is. I am not going to detail about this system earlier because so many times I have explained this in the previous videos as well. So I will go with the other slides. Management and operational level information system. Earlier we talked about strategic information system. Now we will talk about management and operational level information system. It's a transaction processing systems, office automation system, enterprise wide system. TPS, office automation system, enterprise wide system. Let's go with the next slide. What is TPS means? Transaction processing system. The main purpose of TPS is to fulfill the basic need of record keeping. The transaction. What are the records? Those are the transaction. They are stored in the transaction that perform and record routine transaction. In a factory environment, there are so many transactions. In the office environment also, there are so many transactions. So, in order to continue the operation, they are using this routine tasks, routine transaction. What are those? Payroll system, billing system, purchasing system, shipping of records. So, to specific transaction, we are using some kind of system. Payroll system is the, let's say, post machine, point of sale system. In the supermarket also that is used. That is the transaction. Each of the transaction of the purchaser. When you go to the supermarket, you will buy some product. Then you will go to the post machine and they will ask you a product and they will scan it and give the bill, and you have to give the cash there. Then that is called a transaction processing system. And billing system was there, purchasing system was there, procurement. There are so many other systems that deal with the transaction. When it comes to transaction processing, it is easy way of understanding is record keeping. What it does is record keeping. Example is payroll. So, these are the major function of the systems in the session. I think I don't need to explain this further. By looking at the site that you can understand this easily. So, I expect that you will read this and understand. We will go with the next slide. Office automation system. What are the office automation system? Then it should come to your mind that word processing, desktop publishing, right? Those are the computer system designed to increase the productivity of the data. Let's say there will be a question will come, the system that increase the productivity of the data is known as, then they will be giving the office automation system, business intelligence system. There are so many other examples. So, you have to select. OS, they will give this example. They will give what is the correct office automation system. They will give word processing and they will give these systems as well, right? An email, voice mailing, that improve the productivity, because in your office when you are dealing with some office work, you should have systems. Let's say office package, if you want to write a letter, so you are using the office package. If you want to send an email, you are using the email, and there are some group pairs, so many other systems. Discuss questions. Office automation systems are which of the following? IT application that improve the productivity in an organization. Please remember this word, productivity is improve the productivity. When it comes to office automation, you have to remember that it improves the productivity. What would constitute an office automation system? Desktop database. Yes, it has a desktop database. Web processing and email, voice mailing, all of them. All these are office automation system. Enterprise wide system. What is this enterprise wide system? Those are large scale application software packages that support business processes, information flow, reporting and data analysis. Actually, these talk about the like a ERP system, right? When it comes to enterprise wide system, you just remember it's like a ERP system. It's a large scale application software package. ERP also has the same technology. ERP enterprise wide systems are designed to coordinate and all business functions, resources and information wherever they are geographically. It doesn't matter wherever it is located, through the system that can be connected, and also all the processing can be done remotely. So that coordinates all the business function of the organization, and that as a common database, that is called central database. Through the central database, all the informations are managed. Whatever the information doing from some other country, let's say from Australia, UK, New Zealand, so from those areas, some of the information are feeding to the system, and also from the gold, candies, some other branches. So they also do the processes. So all those things are stored in one central database, right? So when it comes to enterprise system, yes, it is a ERP, and it can be it coordinate with all job function of the organization, and it has a central database. You know what the central database is now, right? Okay. Distributed data processing. Data is distributed. So this enterprise system also using this distributed data processing. Distributed data processing is a computer network method in which multiple computers across different locations share computer processing capability. It doesn't about the where is located, geographically located in many other places. It doesn't matter for this one. So it processes the data. This is in contrast to a single centralized server, processing capability to all connected services. Here you see the head office is there. In the head office environment, SAP retail system is there. That is dealing with the retail businesses. And wide area network, through the wide area network it is connected. The remote access is given to some other places, works for spanning. And PDC there, it means the some gadget that used for dealing with the transaction, and some postal machines is there. All these things are connected and stored in one place. So this processing is distributed everywhere. So it doesn't use the power of this one. The post machine has installed the same system, SAP ERP client software. Then from this post machine, the system is feeded, then the data will be stored in this system, that is centralized. It goes to the centralized server and store the data. Whatever the things that do the PDC and also from this client's machines, those information also retrieve and also will be stored in the centralized database. So this processing power is distributed to many areas. It means people do not need to process directly with this system. It is processed here, stored here, processed here, retrieved from here. Distributed data processing. Here main type of networks are LAN and WAN. It uses the LAN. LAN network is to connect the office computers, and WAN is used to connect with other networks. WANs are used when the service devices are dispersed geographically even around the world. When it is geographically located, you have to connect. So you need the WAN. Wide area network is used there. Local LAN means the local area networks. WAN is the wide area networks. Web-based enterprise wide software. What is the web-based enterprise wide software? So we talk about enterprise wide software. Is web-based enterprise wide software. So only the web base is there. So to access the system requires only a computer with an internet connection and web browser. So in the question paper, if they ask, there is a computer system that need only internet connection and web browsers to access. So such kind of systems are called what? Web-based enterprise wide software. So they can be given, they will be given some other answers as well. Distance between the user and the data is irrelevant. So, distance between the user and the data is irrelevant, because if you have the internet, that can be connected, right. So, in the question paper, all of these things can be can refer as cloud computer. Cloud computing is web based enterprise software. Distance between the user and the data is irrelevant in what? Web based enterprise wide software. So, distance between the user is irrelevant. It doesn't relevant to the distance, can be located anywhere in the world, right. Just you need is what you need is only the internet connection to browse that system. Distributed data processing, a computer networking method, a distributed system used to transfer material, processing system in big data, in an integrating of people into network. So, correct answer is a computer networking method. Here it is given. Okay. Big data is what? We talked about big data earlier, no? I have explained this earlier also. So, I said in most of the chapters, this big data is explained. In this chapter also, big data explained. In other two chapters also, the same thing was explained in different platforms. So, in here, I am not going to detail about this, because I have already talked about this one in previous sessions, and also about the V's of this volume, variety, veracity, velocity also explained. So, we will talk about this one, that in the content of big data, what is variety? Differing data type from the different sources is the correct answer. Variety is here. You can see the answer there. What is the characteristic of a big data? Volume is one answer. Okay. What is big data? High volume, high variety, high velocity, data from multiple sources in varying formats. So, this is the answer for that one. Which of the following could be described as a V's of a big data? All these V's are correct. Velocity, volume, veracity. If you go to this one, see how many V's? 4 V's are there. Analysis data from as many resources as possible when making decisions. Create conflict among employees. So, what is big data? It is explained here, and we talk about these two. Analyzing data from as many sources as possible when making decision. What is that? Increase the amount of useful information available to managers when they are making decisions. That is the correct answer for that one. What is data mining? I think that I don't want to explain these wrong answers. What is data mining? A method of harvesting and extracting the big data from across the digital space. So, earlier we talked about data mining. So, using some analytical tools that we do data mining, there are some steps we talk about. So, I expect that you all to, if you are not remember, please go to that data mining techniques slide and understand that, then you can easily answer for these questions. So, this question will come to, I think that at least 1 or 2 questions will come to the examination, because from this big data. Last mile optimization. A major constraint on, what is the last mile in big data? A major constraint on the level of operational efficiency in a distribution network is so called last mile the final stage of a supply chain in which goods are handed over to the recipient. Let's say in a supply chain, one party need to send one good to some other countries. So, that has so many miles. So, let's say 1000 of miles to reach. So, there is a logistic chain. So, in the logistic chain, those product is going to be delivered. So, sometimes there can be issues in the logistic chain. Using big data, those can be avoided. And last mile optimization is the final stage of a supply chain, right? Please remember this one. Final stage of a supply chain in which goods are handed over to the recipient. So, big data can help to increase last mile efficiency. So, we will explain it in the board. Last mile. So, you are here. So, you are going to deliver some product. This is the product one. So, you are going to deliver it to, let us say, Australia. Right. So, you are sending this to DHL. So, there is a time you see, let us say within 1 hour, you do it. Then DHL will take this one, it will take address to be delivered and now the person name and contacts. All those information will be taken and then they will do what? They will label this product, right? Then they will give it to the transport. Then they will be transporting it to the airport. This is the airport, Sri Lanka. Now, product is placed for transporting to this location. The location, the final location is this person, right? About 200 miles away from Australia. In the Australia, that this is the Australia country, we will say. Right. This is Australia. So, when they are taking this product to label, they will put all this information into the system and then pack it to delivery. Then through the vehicle it will take. So, this will take about let us say to deliver to the airport, that will take about 1.5 hours. So, 1 hour, half hour. So, at this time they are calculated in the time of delivery. So, when you are placing the order for delivery, when you are placing this parcel for delivery, they will calculate the time based on the current factors, right. Then within 5 days, let us say within 5 days, that products will be delivered to this person. Then it took 1.5 hours to airport. From the airport, within let us say through the plane, it will be delivered to this airport. right? Airport, Australia, right? This will take about let us say 4 days, because in here also that will be going to, let us say, Singapore. In Singapore there will be a 1 day delay, and then it goes to Australia. Likewise, there is a pathway. Then when you are placing the order, that route information will be collected, and also the time of delivery will be told to this person. Then when it comes to Australia, okay, now they are going to deliver it through transport. Then suddenly when it comes to Australia, they found that there is this is the easiest way to reach, but because of cyclone, because of floods, they cannot go in this way. Then there is another route here, and there can be different routes. So in here to here only 1 mile is there. So based on this based on these factors, this system will decide, okay, what is the best method, best route to reach. So at the last time we are optimizing the time of delivery. If it takes this route, what will happen? It take about 3 days to travel. In this year 1 day, here 12 hours, in here 2 hours. This is the longest route, but it takes 2 hours. So in this route is the best one to deliver the product to the client. So in the last mile they are optimizing based on big data. So this is what we have explained as last mile optimization. Okay. So I think it's clear to you now. Big data can help to increase last mile efficiency. Because of big data, they identify what are the issues coming in the road, the delivery of the item. Then they identify, okay, this is not the best route to go. We will find another route and deliver the goods. So in the last mile, they identify what the best route is. They delivered the goods to the person. So in a courier service, when the delivery vehicle is loaded and unloaded, sensor detect the destination of the package, and the optimal delivery sequence is then calculated for the driver. So they will tell driver, okay, within 1 hour's time you have to deliver, within 1 day time you have to deliver. This is how the information is given. By scanning the label, they can identify the information that is required for delivery. Driver receive the instant driving direction update from their onboard navigation system, guiding them to the next best point of delivery. The courier service, their drivers will understand what is the best route to deliver by using those navigation systems. So big data is heavily used in these logistic platforms. Big data helps capacity planning. So important competitive advantage can be taken, and big data can support such capacity planning and historical capacity and utilization rate of transit points of transportation routes. So as I explained in the board, so those transportation routes issues also can be identified using big data, and the capacity of the distribution network need to be adapted according to the anticipation of future demands. Whether it's capacity or overcapacity, predict the future capacity that the organization requires, all these things can be planned from big data. And you may have heard about tornado. This is like a cyclone happening in in some of the countries. In Sri Lanka that is not happened yet, and there is a environment factors can affect the organization's operations. So big data help for risk evaluation and resilience planning. So there can be so many risks has to be evaluated using big data. In earlier, you know that because of tsunami, most of the countries demolished. Many people died. So why it was? Because big data was not used that time heavily in order to identify the risk. So nowadays that it is heavily used. Now if there is a tsunami coming, that alert will come to the people, and if there is a cyclone and due to environmental factors, there can be so many issues coming. So those can be identified beforehand. So then you can avoid from having such risk. So before this tornado goes into an area, you can leave from that area. The value of big data. What is the value of big data? So in this chapter, actually there are some other slides also will be talking about big data. So it means that in the question paper there will be more questions coming into the examination. So those things actually you can remember. Let's talk about value of big data. McKinsey big data report. He has made a big data report in 2011. Also highlight his ability to create transparency as one of 5 broad ways in which big data can create value for organization. So big data can create a value for organization, and it has the ability to create transparency. And one of the best way, creating transparency, making data more easily accessible to relevant stakeholders in a timely manner, analyzing shops transaction and provide those information to take decision. Normally when you are doing the transaction in the shops, those information will be captured, and also that will be given to some other people for taking decisions. Internal divisional reaches and development can be shared to other division or other external parties for their development. So those information can be captured and given for internal and external use. So that has a transparency. When you do some transaction, that is recorded in the system, and also those information can be retrieved by some other people. It's a transparent system that have the big data. The value of big data, performance improvement. For performance improvement, those big data is used. Customer feedback given in the social media and taken in to improve the product. So when you want to develop a new product, customers' feedback can be collected, and also that can take as a report, and then you can decide on the report information. Then you can improve the performance of your product. Market segmentation and customization. So the volume and variety within big data enable organizers to create highly specific segment within each market. The market segmentation also can be done using the big data. So big data could facilitate the real-time micro segmentation of customer for targeted promotion and advertising. When you are doing the promotion and advertising, it's highly use this segmentation, because let's say geographical wise and age wise and the behavior pattern wise, those data can be gathered by using big data. As an example, let's say in candy area, the method of buying, the behavior of buying also can be identified using the supermarket purchases. And also let's say in the supermarket, if you are going to buy some alcohol, so what type of alcohol you are using, and also how many times you are using that, and who will be using, and what kind of age people are using that one. Those information can be gathered and segment. By doing those, they can do the promotional activities as they want. And also government also can fetch this, take this information and take their future decision, but I don't think that they are using it now. Most of the private organization using this segmentation of data and use those data to market their product. Let's say if you are going to open a new supermarket, let's say Kagiso, Kiso, Lafo, whatever. So then before you are going to open that supermarket, you can use big data to analysis what type of market segmentation is there. If you are going to establish, open a new supermarket in a rural area, will that market segmentation will come to buy those products? So we have to analyze this. Then what are the supermarket available in those areas, and what are the buying patterns, whether the goods available in those supermarket will be bought by those people who are in the area. So those things has to be identified. The value of big data helps decision making. By identify those things, you are going to decide, okay, are we going to open a new supermarket in Anuradhapura area, or let's say in Colombo 7 area there are about 20 supermarket here and there. So are we going to open the new one? So do we have the new customer base for that? So those decision has to be taken by using the big data. And for example, trend identified by the retailer in stores, online sales, real time could be used to manage inventories and pricing. Yeah, based on the data available with them, and also using external sources, they are gathering data. Based on those data, they can decide, okay, what type of inventory should the supermarket have. If you are going to open a supermarket in let's say Batramul area, so what type of inventory should have, what type of product should have, what should be the pricing mechanism. So those things has to be decided, can decide by based on big data. New product and services, consumer behavior to create new product and services. Based on the consumer behavior, you can do new innovations, you can introduce a new product. Let's say when you are going to buy some product, some beer or something, so most of the people are buying some beers, and also there are some other product that is linked with the beer. So there are some Coca-Cola or soda or whatever. So based on those behavior patterns, you are developing now some other new product that will suit for that market segmentation. So introducing of new product also can be done using big data. So then you know what are the facts, what are the information, based on that you are developing a new product. As an example, enable insurance companies to refine the pricing of their insurance policies according to where and how people drive their cars. So if you are insuring a car which is running in some dangerous places, so there is a high risk. So when you are having an insurance policy, so you can do the pricing based on those data, right? So let's say based on the car quality and also the pedigree of the car, so the pricing also can be increased. They know that the people who buy this car are very rich, they tend to increase the price of the insurance policy of that car. Likewise, so many things can be done using big data. Mike McKinsey big data report highlight how many ways big data can create value for organization. How many ways? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 ways. It is asked here. What can be used to further decision making in the area of big data? Further decision making. Sophisticated analysis tool which are used to uncover previously hidden pattern and trend in data. In data, there are some hidden pattern. So those trends are identified using big data. Creating transparency in big data means making data more easily accessible to relevant stakeholders in a timely manner. In transparency here, it talk about creating transparency, making data more easily accessible to relevant stakeholders is the meaning of that. It is asked in this question. Right. And please note that when you read this detail, you can have your own questions. You can create the questions using this one. Please try to do that, because initially you will not be very much keen on doing those questions. By looking at the theory thing, you can create your own questions. Then you will have a question database with you. Then after, you can just read on the question paper, question database, and understand the content of the syllabus. Then it's a easy way of answering for the question in the question paper, and also it's like a summarization of content. Okay, data warehouse. What is the data warehouse? Data warehouse is a system that puts together data from many different sources within an organization for reporting and analysis. In the operation level, there are some data. Now, how many products are used, how many materials are used, what are the materials they have used, how many times, how much time they have taken to develop products, likewise, and also the different managerial level also there are some data, and also strategic level also data. So those data can be retrieved, can be taken from different sources, and that can be used for reporting and analysis. So that is used to make business decision. Business decisions can be taken by using those data. So there can be online analytical processing, OLP, multi-dimensional data analysis. So there are different techniques will be using in there. Data warehouse and database. What's the difference between data warehouse and database? Data warehouse and database are both relational data system that store large quantities. A data warehouse that store large quantities of historical data. So and typically using online analytical processing. Database store current transaction and enable fast access to specific transaction for ongoing business. So in the data warehouse, what they does is using of historical data. They are storing the historical data in large quantities. A lot of data is available in their house, but in database it is not like that. In the database, the current data which is happening now will be stored. Current transaction of data will be stored in the databases. So these difference has to be understood in order to select the correct answer for the questions. OLAP means online analytical processing. It is asked in one question. Which of the following provide a coherent set of information to be used across the organization for management, analysis and decision making? So, what is the information used? Data warehouse. So, data warehouse is providing those things. Right. What does the acronym OLP means? Online analytical processing. One advantage of setting up a data warehouse is having a wide range of data available to be queries easily encourage the taking of a wide perspective on organizational activities. So, this is the answer. Actually, if you have understood well what is the data warehouse, what is the difference between data warehouse and databases, and what are the techniques they are using online analytical processing like that, and it takes the data from different sources and doing the reporting and analyzing I used to make business decision. So, those are the information that you can remember. Data mart. What is this data mart? A data mart is a subset of a data warehouse. So, we discuss about here data warehouse. So, data warehouse has different data marts. So, data marts contain repositories of summarized data collected for analysis on a specific section or unit within an organization. Sales department, marketing, HRO, finance. So, these are the data marts. In the sales department, they have the data mart which has all the product information which about selling of goods to the customers. All those information are available in this data mart. And marketing and HR also employees data, and finance data. So, all those data marts are available in the data warehouse. Advantages data mart is what? Decision makers can access data without affecting the use of potential operational systems. Having a wide range of data available to be queried easily encourage the taking of a wide perspective on organization activities. So, access data without affecting use of operation. When the operation is going on, if you are having a data warehouse, you can take data through each of the data mart of the data warehouse, and that does not affect to the operation of the system. So, and also that can be queried very easily. So, data warehouse has different method to query the data from the data warehouse, and that can quantifying, improve the knowledge, identifying and understanding most profitable revenue streams. So, those can be done using when you are having the data warehouse. Information can be made available to business partners. The information that you have will be available to business partners. Right. A subset of a data warehouse is what? Data mart. Subset of a data warehouse. In here we call it subset of a data warehouse is known as data mart. It is a question here. One advantage of having data warehouse is what? Decision makers can access data without affecting the use of operational system. So, this important feature is also asked as a question, right? It is explained here. Here see, decision makers can access data without affecting the use of operational system. One advantage is that. Reporting. Okay, reporting, because there are so many data. Now you talk about big data. There are so many data in data marts, and also there are so many data marts, and also in those are in the data warehouse. So, you have the data. and you can use the data for reporting, that can report to the top management, middle level management, for anyone who require those information. Dashboard, we talked about the dashboard earlier, right? So in the dashboard you can see the summarized information. When you click on, let's say you are looking for a sales summary. In the dashboard there is a sales summary. Then the sales summary has one person called Peter. The Peter has sold 1,000 of good in Colombo area. So you are clicking on the Peter's name. Then there's another report will come. That report will have the detailed description of what Peter has sold to the customer, right? Likewise, there can be a report, the product A. The product A is the let's say shampoo. The shampoo has 1 million of good products sold to the customers. When you click on shampoo, then you will get the drill down report. That drill down report will show in shampoo also there are so many categories of shampoo. There are with the different names. So under these different names, you can see the what type of what amount of goods are sold, and in geographically how it is sold. Likewise, drill down report will drill down the details. Right? I think it is very understood you now. Dashboards are often also combined with the drill down report. Drill down report provides users with the capability to look at increasingly detailed data about a situation. Exceptional report. What is the exceptional report? Let's say I am telling you, you are very exceptional because you are very different. When we compare with some other, you are very different. You are a different character. You are an exceptional character. So likewise, there can be exceptional reports. What is that? The exception report is a document that states those instances in which actual performance deviated significantly from expectation. Let's say in the board I will explain that. So you have dashboard. This is dashboard, right? There are sales, right? Then you are clicking on this one, then you will get shampoo, soap. Likewise, how many quantities is sold. Shampoo, different names, let's say A, B, C, D, and the different names shampoos are there. Shampoo A, B, like. Then you know how many quantities are sold. When you click on this one, then again that will show another report. So this is called drill down report. You can get detailed description of the information, right? So there can be so you are taking those information into a graph. Let's say January to December. This is how the it goes. Product sales. This product sales, right? So here April is sales is going up again it's going like this, but December also like that, right? But in December it should be like this, but why it is going down? There should be reason. So about these figures, December figures, there can be so many issues happen. For that we call exceptional report, right? By looking at the this exceptional report, you have to identify the problem. So how the performance deviated significantly from exceptional expectation. You expected 1 million of goods sold in the market in December, but you could sell only 500,000, only 1 lakh of goods. So there is a problem. So that is shown in the report. That is an exceptional report. Normally it's shown as a negative direction. Usually negative impact happens to the industry. So that it is why we use that one. That is for the attention of the management. Let's say when you see that details in the dashboard, it can be shown as in red color. So you know that it's an exceptional report. You click on that, the exceptional report will come as the product sales goes down in April because of why? Maybe due to coronavirus or due to disaster or some kind of things can happen. So it is here exceptional reports could be used to report against key performance indicator KPIs or other aspect of an organization performance relating to its critical success factor. So sometime in the question paper, if they ask, there are some report which deal with KPI. KPI means key performance indicator. In April you have to reach this number of 1 million of goods sold, but you could not do it. So that is related to exceptional report, and it talk about critical success factors. In the KPIs dealing with critical success factors. If there are performance, if the performance is very bad, so that is related to critical success factor of the organization. So that is addressed in these exceptional reports. Reporting presentation of the report. So there are some reports, but you have to present it by using PowerPoint or whatever the presentation mechanism you can present it. When you are presenting, please note that it should be significant differences to the professionals and appearance of the report. There should be very good appearance, right? It should be logical order and also in a very clear structure, and standard format should be there, and format styles likewise. And also the length of the report, summary report should be concise, because if you have a very lengthy report, the people in the management will not be looking at the report. So if you have a report with the summarized information, they will first look at the summarized information and then goes with the other lengthy details. So the report should be short and concise. It means it should be very understandable directly. When you are looking at the report, it should be very good, it should be understanding. What type of information would be displayed on the dashboard? What are those? Real time, high level chart and graph and tables. Those are the things we talk about this talk about many times. A drill down report provides users with which of the following: the capability to look at increasingly detailed data about a situation. About a increasingly detailed data. When you click on one sales report, that will give some other reports as a drill down report that is having more data, more summarized data. Exceptional reports are reports that are used in which of the following situations: exceptional, when an unusual or unaccepted situation arises that requires a manager's attention. Unaccepted situation arises, we use exceptional reports. What can affect the quality of an output report? Presentation and format of the report. Output the report will be presented to the people by using very good presentations. That can use graph and some highlighted data, tables. From those mechanisms, you can present the data correctly to the management. Data science. What is data science is? We call data warehouse, big data, we call about data. So, there is a data science also. Data science is the study of where information comes from, what is represent, how it can be turned into valuable resources. It talk about what? Study of what? Where information come from what sources the information is coming, and what it does say is like those information has some different meanings. So, what is the meaning? What it is representing? And also how it can be turned into valuable resources. So, data should be turned into valuable resources. It says something, it comes from different platforms. So, now you have data and you have to turn it to valuable resources. So, that is called data science. You have the data in hand, it came from different sources, you stored in data warehouses, you have different systems to retrieve those data. Using analytical tools, you can do so many analytical activities and represent data to the management. So, you can represent that one. Then by using those, you can turn into valuable resources. So, those are the valuable resources those you can use and do innovative products. Data science is all about uncovering findings data through a different process tool technique involved to identify patterns from raw data. Okay. In the data science life cycle, it explains data preparation, covering data into a common format. Here data searching for different sources of data and capturing structured and unstructured data. They are capturing structured and unstructured data. Then they prepare the data and mathematical modeling will be used to analyze the data using variables and equation to establish relationship. Then they identify one data will have another relationship with another. So, likewise when you are purchasing some liquor from a liquor shop, there is a relation with Coca-Cola and soda. So, there is a correlations. So, they tend to buy that. So, in mathematical modeling, so those equation has to be established, those relationships has to be established. Getting things in action, gathering information and deriving outcome based on business requirement. Getting things in action, so they know what the requirement is, right? They are doing the things and take it as action. And communicate finding to stakeholders and decision making. So, whatever the findings that you have done, now we are going to give it to the management, senior management. So, data science, this is the final part, right? So, you have collected data, discovered data and data prepared and mathematical modeling, you have done various things and you are get the things in action, then you communicate with the management. So, that is called data science. Data mining. So, in early site also we talk about this data mining has 6 stars. It's extraction of pattern and knowledge from large amount of data that has anomaly detection, association rule learning, clustering, classification, regression, summarization. So if you want further explanation again, you can refer to the previous slide of data mining, then you can get more detail about data mining. So we'll move to the next slide. Data science, data mining and analytics. Data mining is the process of finding anomalies, patterns and correct correlation with the large data set to predict outcome. So data mining software that look for hidden pattern and relationship with large pool of data. Please remember, sometimes this question will ask for in the examination. As per the evaluation I have done, they may ask this kind of questions. There is a technique that use hidden pattern and relationship in large pool of data, that is called data mining. Okay, what does data mining software do? Look for hidden pattern and relationship. There are hidden pattern and relationship. We talk about this here, hidden pattern and relationship. It is asked here. Which of the following is an example of data mining capability? Data mining capability: reviewing customer purchases and creating a profile of what kind of people they are by identifying trend in items they buy. When they buy some product, they identify what kind of people are. As I explained you earlier, here also we have given an example of supermarket can use a loyalty card. Purchasing behavior is examined there. Provide profile of what kind of people they are, identify the trends. So those things are analyzed by using data mining. So it's clear to you now about this data mining capability question. Data analytics. Data analytics is to generate insight from data by connecting patterns and trends. Data analytics is a similar concept to data mining. It's like a data mining concept. If it is in the question paper, if they ask the similar concept of data mining is what? Data analytics. It is the process of collecting and re-examining data in order to extract meaningful business insight, which can then be used to inform decision making and improve the performance of the organization. You have collected data, you examine the data and extract the meaningful information. During last 5 years duration, you have sold one product. The product has reached the market share which we wanted, and you are extracting those information and you see the pattern of products sold in the market. It was initially it was very low in quantity sold, but now it is very high in quantity sold, and sometimes in next few years that will be declining. So those data is there to analyze what will happen in future as well. Data mining versus data analysis. What the differentiation? Data mining assists in identifying the key pattern. Data analysis aids in generating a verified hypothesis of data. It's creating relationship. Hypothesis mean let's say when you, as I said, the real example, if you buy liquor, you are going to buy the other product. What is that? Coca-Cola or soda or some kind of other beverages. So there is a correlation with that. There is a hypothesis. There is a relationship. So in data analysis, those relationships are generated. Those hypotheses are generated. So in identifying the key pattern, so they are identifying, okay, this much of liquor sold during the month of April. and this much of Coca-Cola sold during the month of April, this much of soda sold during the month of April. So, you have the data, is identifying the data, key pattern, the graph are there. By using those, so they are generating a verified hypothesis of the data. So, they are verifying the hypothesis, they are verifying the relationship, they are guessing what the relationship has in this product sold in the market. What is the correct statement of data analysis? See, generate insight from data by connecting patterns and trend with the organization goal. It is also correct. Data analysis is a similar concept of data mining. Yes, that is also correct now. Aid in generating a verified hypothesis of data. Data analysis hypothesis also done. So, answer is all of the above. So, if you remember about this question, you can answer for 3 questions. It means sometime in the question paper, based on this answer they will make another question. Based on this one they will make another question. Based on this one they will make another question. Likewise, so you also can create another 3 questions by using these 3 answers. Try to create that and see. Then you will be experiencing developing questions. If you are experiencing developing question by using the content of the syllabus, then you can easily write for the examination. Robots. Have you seen the robots? Yes, it's a common thing. So in this the BL8 also they talk about robots. You don't need to go into details about what the robot is. You can identify the model of that. There can be 3 types. Material handling robots. Those are the robots that who transfer the material from one end to other. In the factory environment, they transfer the product from one end to other. So that is material handling robot. And there can be assembly robot, like in the Toyota manufacturing environment. There are assembly parts, sub part of the cars. So there are some assembly robots. They get together and assemble one car. Inspection support. There are some robot that goes and inspect the diseases, inspect the stolen goods, and likewise there can be inspection robots. They can inspect the quality of the goods. So they can scan the goods and see whether it is accepted or not. So likewise there can be inspection robots. So there are 3 types of robots. In the question paper also they will be asking like how many ways are robots commonly used? 3 ways: material, assembly, inspection. That is mainly used, right? What type of robot is used to transfer materials and products and to unload and load? Material handling robots. Automated guided vehicle. What are the automated guided vehicles? You may have seen in the factories, there is in manual operation factories, there can be a person, a driver, that who will take the forklift and take some goods and load it somewhere. So if we can automate that vehicle, that does not need a driver, that will take the goods and transport it to some other location in the factory. So that can unload and load the goods into the lorry or somewhere. So those are called the automated guided vehicle. AVGs are used to increase the speed and accuracy of transporting materials and product around a production system. So automated guided vehicle are what? Material handling robot. We can name them as material handling robots. So requires no human inputs. Here you can see the question: an automated guided vehicle is used to increase the speed and accuracy of transporting material and product around a production system. We'll play a video. That from the video you can identify how the automated guided vehicle are used. See, they are unloading the products. Okay, so that gave very good information about how the factory environment is automated by using automated guided vehicle and also some other high intelligent systems. So machine learning is the specific scientific study of algorithm and statistical model that computer system used to perform a specific task without using explicit instruction. So, in machine learning, that use artificial intelligence. It means it has the ability to learn automatically. So, automatically there is a information that you can learn. You also learn from your childhood by looking at the father and mother, they learn. And this machine learning also means something like it's a machine, it's a robot. So, he learn by looking at the people, by looking at the scenarios. So, such kind of learning is called machine learning. It's not a human beings. So, machines are learning like. So, in this YouTube video, I am not going to explain this further. So, I expect that you will log into this YouTube video and then you can refer to the more details about what does machine learning do, what does machine learning says. Distributed option of data. How do we distribute data? Word processing, electronic scheduling, desktop database, web publishing, voicemail, emails. So, those are the simple things that you can remember. Groupware is already talked about this in the previous slide also. It's a collaborative software, that is what you have to memorize. So, Groupware is using Groupware are small project oriented teams that have important tasks and tight deadlines. Scheduler allowing user to keep track of their schedule and plans, meeting with other, and address book, to-do list, journal. Those are called file sharing and distribution utilities. Those are called collaborative softwares. Groupware is a term used to describe software that provide collaboration. See collaboration. So, that is the thing that you have to remember for identification purpose. The chapter 5, Enterprise Resource Planning, ERP. This word ERP was described in some of the chapters in briefly. So, this is there is a separate chapter for ERP. So, it means for the ERP chapter, there is chapter 5, there can be some questions, more questions coming into the examination for answering. So, ERP is very easy to understand the concept of the ERP, then you can easily answer for the questions. So, I have created some of the questions in this chapter and it is given there. So, you can refer to those, and also I have taken some of the questions from the revision kit as well. ERP. So, what is ERP? An ERP system is an enterprise resource planning system. ERP is a software system designed to support and automate the business processes that can be in medium size or large enterprises and are a type of OLTP, online transaction processing systems. Accounting oriented information system also there that aid the flow of information between all business functions. ERP provide the integration and continuously updated. After explaining these things, I will explain in the board what is the ERP is, right. ERP provides an integrated and continuously updated view of core businesses processes using common database. That has a common database, that has a central database. So, maintained by a database management system. ERP system track business resources, cash, raw materials, production, capacity, and the status of the business commitment, orders, purchases, payrolls. The application that make up the system share data across various departments. It is interlink all the department activities. So that share the data across all the department. That can be manufacturing, purchasing, sales, accounting, that provides the data. ERP facilitates information flow between all business function and manages connections to outside stakeholders. And it manages all the business function in the organization, and also sometimes that will be linked with the outside stakeholders as well. So there are so many components that we have given here. Okay, I'll draw in the board what is the ERP is. So you take into mind that the concept behind this ERP. We will take an example, Sri Lanka ERP. Sri Lanka ERP, right? So you have one entity called registration division. And the other one is exam. And member relations. What is? And SAP and education, IT, and the main important finance and audit division. And there are so many other divisions likewise. So all of these things are interlinked each other, right? So all these things are interlinked each other. So through what? They have interlinked each other through a system that is called ERP. Let's say for registration division activities, they have a separate divisional page. The people who are there registering the information of the student and also doing all the transaction of the registration division through a system application given through this ERP system. And also examination division also, there is a separate entity in this ERP system. So all the information, all the transaction are stored and managed by this system. And there is another application, member relation. They also do those same member relation activities, member management and registering of members likewise, and also SAP degree awarding also there. Then also that will be operating as a separate entity. And education division also, they have some qualitative activities, and there are so many other activities involved with them. And IT division also there, they are implementing the IT system. They also have the different dashboard, different application. So finance division also have different activities to handle, for payroll, taking money from the cashier, and so many activities are there. That also handled by this ERP system. And audit trails, all those functions are handled by the ERP systems. These are one system that has one database. This is the database. So all these things are stored, right? So this is called the ERP. And we will take an example now. CS Sri Lanka is having some other system available in the available with them, but they don't have a separate ERP system. but they have different system. System 1, 2, 3, likewise 4. There are different system, and those all the systems are interlinked. Then that is the concept behind this. There are systems, different systems that dealing with different functionality of the organization, that is interlinked together, and also that stored that use the one database, right? And that is called the ERP. Let's say today you have this function managed by one system, you have this function managed by one system, but you don't have a system to manage these financial activities, and you are going to buy a ERP called SAP. This is a ERP, but it doesn't have this student registration system, it doesn't have this examination system, it doesn't have member relation system, it doesn't have education system, it doesn't have SAP activities managing system. But some of the activities like procurement and payroll and CRM, customer relationship management, and some other IT management, there are some different common functionalities handled by this system. Then what the CA Sri Lanka is going to do? They are going to do by this SAP ERP, and it is dealing with procurement, payroll and everything, and then they are going to connect that with the existing systems, right? They are going to connect the new ERP that you have purchased with the new system. Then all of these systems are interlinked together, that is stored in one common database. Then of course we can name it as also ERP. But in today's world, when it comes to ERP, they talk about, okay, SAP is a ERP, yes, of course, yes. And also Oracle is a ERP, yes, yes. But when there are some other functionality not available, can the SAP people do this? Can the Oracle people do this? So sometimes they cannot. Then we interlink with the other system. Then thereafter, all the system which have interlinked also can be named as ERP. So I think this is very clear to you now what I have explained. So there are softwares like ERP softwares like Oracle and SAP. SAP is very high cost, and also Oracle also is less than SAP, and there are different functionality, common functionalities dealing with the organization functionalities. So sometimes when you are going to purchase a new ERP system, that system functionalities will not be complying with the requirement of the organization. Then of course you have to edit the functionalities which is available in the SAP or Oracle. Then there will be a very high cost. Editing the changing of the system is very high cost. So I think that the explanation I have given in the board, that will be clear to you about what the ERP is. There are some other information. SAP HANA is the one ERP, Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle JDE. So need to customize according to the business process of the organization. So that can be customized, therefore of course, right. So when you are going for customization, that is high cost. And when you are going to integrate all function of the organization, as I said you, examination division has a different system, and also registration division is having a different system. So you are going to integrate that with the ERP that you are going to purchase, right? Then there will be integration point. Then of course the cost is very high. So you have to integrate. Integration is not easy. So once it is integrated, that will be running well. So those integrate all functions of the organization should result in lower costs when it comes to use. If it is heavily used, most of the operations are very easier. You can minimize most of the cost. So in maintaining, you will have to spend a lot of money, but when it comes to the cost reduction in some of the activities, that actually reduce the cost. Then of course you can save more money. Implementation now relatively expensive. It's not easy to implement like other system. That because that is dealing fully with the organization, all the functionalities. If one functionality is not functioning well, so then the whole system will be collapsed. So therefore implementation is very expensive. Increase flexibility and efficiency of production. It will be giving a flexible environment for the production, and also the efficiency goes up because of the ERP. So as questions what I have given you, what is the system of SAP, Enterprise Resource Planning System? It's a ERP. What does ERP stand for? Enterprise Resource Planning. Those are simple questions that it was available in the study pack also. Component of ERP. These are the components. See, finance, general ledger, account receivable, assess, controlling and management accounting, treasury management, inventory and warehouse management, human resource management, sales and distributed, procurement management, master data. Actually, these are the common thing which can be used by any of the organization. So when you purchase a new ERP system, that can be Microsoft Dynamics, SAP, Oracle, there are so many functionalities involved. So those are the common functionalities, but you see that you don't have this examination system, you don't have a registration system, you don't have a member relation management system, you don't have such functionality. Then of course you will have to connect those things, integrate those things with the new ERP that you are going to purchase. So these are the common component that is available in the ERP systems. What is the disadvantage of utilizing an ERP system? So disadvantage, expensive to implement and upgrade. Yes, when implementing it is very expensive, and also when upgrading it is very costly. HR systems are used for which of the following? Managing employees' data. HR system that manage the employee data. Which of the following best describe an ERP system? Online transactional processing. Here we call about that. No? Yes, that has the online transactional processing. Here, a type of OLP, online transactional processing systems. And which of the following would be considered a component of a ERP system? Finance is a component, sales component, procurement component, all of the above. And normally that most of the theories which I have given in this slide and in some books, they call about this component only. But the concept behind is the ERP means that is not related to a product like SAP or Oracle. ERP means that what I explained in the board, that is integrated all the functionality of the organization and using a central database, and some other system already developed in the in-house also can be integrated. Then of course that can become a one ERP that serve the organization requirement. And SRM component help the organizations to do which of the following? Customer relationship management component. Communicate with suppliers as part of an integration system or processes. Here is the customer, here it is not given actually customer relationship management. In the ERPs, customer relationship management component also there as a one functionality. Within an ERP system, what can be configured across functions? Modules can be configured. So, these are the different modules here. Finance module, controlling and management accounting module, treasury management, those are the modules. So, they call it as a module, right? So, you have to remember that within an ERP system, what can be configured across functions, modules. ERP systems are effective because they use integrated and end-to-end processes across multiple functions of the business. So, so we talk about ERP. So, we conclude this session now. We will come with the next session. Thank you.